Art brings us together.
Art is political.
Art to support our soul.
It gives people a possibility to stop and think.
Art inspires, it connects, it provokes.
Art is more than just cognition and words.
I ask that myself all the time. I just randomly think about that, like why. My brother's very much a scientist, still appreciates art. I'm an artist that appreciates science. Sometimes I see it as the scientists are going without that much of a polar opposite, I suppose, not polar, that's the wrong word. If you look at such a different thing as a scientific view versus the artistic view, it might not be as divisive as that is, but scientists are taking apart the world, finding out how the pieces all work. The artist is trying to put that back together so that it can be understood and absorbed by the culture around and the people, and to document the period of time, to document this journey that we're on. I don't think we are at odds with one another. I think we work in harmony with one another, but the best I can understand why I do art is so that I can understand the world around me, and maybe refine that or put that in some type of filter that other people can appreciate as well. That maybe see reflections of others and see the voices of others, and maybe learn something about yourself through it.
And I tell them, you do not stand there and try to figure out what the subject is about, what you can see in the painting, what it looks like, if you see an animal or a person, but you actually stand there and you feel the painting. You take it in with your body, with your eyes. It's okay if different people see different things in the paintings. Meaning can be very elusive. It may be different from what the artist tries to convey, but people bring their own experiences into abstract paintings, and they see, what their life experiences bring them.
Art brings us together. It speaks through a visual language. It's creation from our innate curiosity to learn and understand our world. And it visualizes the context of the artist situated in that moment in time. And sort of documenting that moment in time, saving it through paint, photography, gesture, mark making as well. It sort of like shows you a brief moment in time and space. What has been and what is now, and gives you the possibility to think of what can be as well.
Art in any community often is political. Like when I was going to art school, there was more art leaning towards recycling. People were, doing paintings and stuff that would refer to that. So I always thought that art is almost, in a lot of ways, is like the pulse of society. Whatever society is going through, the art tends to reflect that. The art in the community I always found definitely reflects what society is thinking at that time.
I think that the role of art is it gives people possibility to stop and think. Like we saw a lot of murals and different outdoor pieces pop up recently, and I think that it gives people the opportunity to think about where they are and maybe even relax for a second. Sometimes it may give them the possibility to relax and kind of forget about things, then other times it really makes them have to consider themselves more. So I think that it goes either direction, where people are so busy and they need to stop and think for a minute, and it gives the community a possibility to be just calm. But I think on the other hand, we're so calm, and especially right now we're at home and we're not really connected with other people, so I think it gives people the possibility to connect with one another and really remember what's going on and what they're thinking about and all these different things that are happening in the world right now. So it can be a bit of both, but I do think that in general it brings people more together, because they can look at a piece and they can get completely different things from it, but then they can come together and think about it, right? And I think that if people see art and they're together, if there's a public piece, I especially like public pieces for communities, because I feel like if see something public or if it's accessible, then I think right now they're able to kind of come together and look at it and share in that.
Yeah, I think during the quarantine and pandemic tough period, we especially need art to support our soul and support our mind and keep ourselves more healthier in soul.
Yeah, to me, like art it's like music. I'm also interested in music, and there's a Johann Bach, the composer, said the aim and final goal of glory is none other than the glory of God and the refreshment of the soul. And so there's two parts there. So, you know, for someone who is a Christian and who believes in God, art should glorify God, just like music does. And then there's that refreshment of the soul. And, you know, like, art does that. It's like walking in nature. People say, like, when you walk in the forest, you feel better afterwards. Seeing great art is like that. So, you know, like, wherever I travel to cities, I always go to the art museums, and it just feels good to see beautiful things that people create.
I always consider it very important for enrichment of our culture, and it really enrich our creative mind and help in the health of your inside, you know, like beautiful to look at, but then it's very calming. It's good for the artists when they paint, you know, they're really relaxing, and also other people to admire, and draws you closer, the art will draw you closer to the nature and also the places around you and the people. So I think art is very important for our community.
Art brings the community together. It also challenges the community's ideas of itself, and it creates a bond of engagement between all of us. You also want art to challenge a little bit of your worldview, or give you different perspective on something you didn't see before.
Yeah, the purpose of art in our community, I think it's a huge question, and we could probably do an entire interview and a conversation around that and have lots of perspectives at it. But I believe that art inspires, it connects, it provokes, it helps explain, it helps us understand the world around us. Art makes us better seers and better solvers, and it heightens our senses and gives us permission to dream. So I think that's a pretty